Good evening and welcome to November's edition of Growth Talk Radio Show. I'm your host, Duvalier Malone, and I have with me tonight Dr. M. Christopher Brown, the 18th president of the nation's first historical black land-grant institution, better known as Alcorn State University. Since being named president in 2010, Brown has led the university to be a distinction in many ways, including recognized as HBC of the Year by the Center for HBCU Media Advocacy in April of this year, serving approximately 4,000 students on the main campus in Lorman, along with satellite campuses in Vicksburg and Natchez. Brown provides a student-centered approach to decision-making. Tonight, I want to quote one of my mentors from Alcorn State University in a press release there by the Institution of Higher Learning. Dr. Dickson Idusuyi stated, "The enthusiasm that President Brown has generated for Alcorn State University has given us a competitive advantage." Dr. Brown, welcome to Growth Talk tonight.
Good evening. Good to be here.
I'm so glad to have you on tonight. I want to first start off by saying congratulations on such an outstanding job with the Magnolia Soul Bowl this past weekend before last.
Okay.
Outstanding job.
Well, we have a great team, and we're certainly fortunate to have good vice president, certainly our CFO, Betty Roberts, who made sure everything pans out financially. But the chair of the Soul Bowl Committee, Marcus Ward, our vice president for institutional advancement, spearheaded an alumni committee from across the regions of the state to make sure that we brought back the old traditions prior to 1992, as well as tried to maintain some of the exciting highlights of the Capital City Classic energy during its heyday in Jackson. And so we're really excited about it. I think it turned out extremely well.
Awesome. And also, I just want to highlight that during that weekend, I was talking to a colleague of mine, Katina Rankin, and we were so excited to see that there were no reported incidents of any kind negatively there. And across the state of Mississippi, there in the capital city, everyone, even Jacksonians, were talking about what an awesome campus there. And I think it brought good exposure. Talked to some young people there in Jackson a few weeks, and they were very excited to see how the campus have grown and how Alcorn is a premier land-grant institution there in Southwest Mississippi. So I want to say congratulations, the job well done.
Well, thanks so much. It's certainly we were glad not to have any police incidents or the like. I think a lot of things went well. The concessions went well. We certainly would like to see our hawkers work the stands a little harder, especially for some of the senior citizens, so they don't have to make their way into the concession line, so that people will come to them with their foodstuffs. And additionally, while we did a remarkable job with traffic to get those individuals in and out, I've been to the Jackson game, and traffic on Woodrow Wilson and State Street is hours and hours long. So we did have a delay. It wasn't instantaneously through the gate, and I'd like to see that change. And so I've charged the CFO and facilities to look at a way to move the gate down so that you'll have an opportunity to turn and go either through the back gate or the side gate and not try to bring all of that traffic to the front. So hopefully when Jackson State or Southern or anyone comes back in 2014 and then our normal 2013 games, we'll have much better traffic ingress and egress from the campus.
Awesome. Also, I want to bring to mind, and we'll start the discussion tonight on student enrollment throughout the state of Mississippi. Spoke with Dr. Donna Oliver, president of Mississippi Valley State University currently, and she's wrapping up that term there. And she was at my Southwest Mississippi Youth Legends Ball this year, and she expressed to us that during that ball, how students are not exposed because of the location. And I think you've done an outstanding job there at the university, being that we are located in Southwest Mississippi, to maintain student enrollment. And looking at the data, how have you been able to accomplish this increase in student enrollment since your term as president?
Well, certainly it's a great team. The Dean of Admissions, Emmanuel Barnes, who's been there for quite some time, is quite able, and we've expanded his team. I think one of the great things which was absent before, and that's that the campus has clear goals, and so it used to be whoever came we catered to, and whoever didn't come, we assume they got served somewhere else. But now we're very clear on what our enrollment targets are, and we build our budget based on those enrollment targets, and we expect people to hit their targets as a job performance metric. And I think Mr. Barnes takes it very seriously. We were in a meeting Monday, our cabinet meeting, and there was a discussion on something totally unrelated to enrollment, but he re-announced at the cabinet meeting what the enrollment goal was, and so that means that there's a very clear, conscious commitment by him and his team to that effort. So, and the foundation and facilities have taken on building new dorms. We'll be launching another construction project to make sure we can house the students, and we've brought in consultants to look at parking, which is a huge, huge issue, to make sure that there's adequate parking and clearly labeled parking for the years to come.
And as a state, what do you think we can do to improve student enrollment and retention at our universities? I know recently there was an article in the Clara Legend about students being purged from systems throughout the university. We get them and we can't keep them. What do you think we can do as a state to keep those students and to maintain that retention here?
Well, it's very complicated. Certainly, there complex reasons why individuals are not able to close the financial need gap. But the sad truth is that Mississippi, as a state, is one of the lowest per pupil funding for education, and that's K-12 and higher ed. And so it's a state that is uncertain of what the right level of funding is for colleges and universities, and so the burden of the cost of the education, while the state picks up, I think, about 37% of the cost of a student to attend Alcorn, the other 63%, 64% has to be made up in fundraising by the institution, external gifts and grants, and family contribution through tuition. And so the tuition continues to rise and families have to pay that cost. If you look around the country, even in the South, you've got, or even in the far West, you've got the Hope Scholarship in Georgia, you've got the Millennial in Nevada, you've got the Challenge in Tennessee. And so these are states that have done two things. One, said that we want to commit funding to educating students at the post-secondary level in our state, and two, that we want to keep our students in our state, and so they put their money there. And so I think when the state finally makes a conscious decision on what's the right commitment to fund higher education, and then makes that support available, I think we'll see better enrollment trends, better retention trends, and I think overall better performance by our institutions.
And Dr. Brown, in speaking about tuition, I was reviewing the Institution of Higher Learning minutes and preparing for tonight's interview, and I noted where the proposed tuition to be raised throughout the state as it relates to public institutions. And my concern, personally, in looking at that, do you think it will be difficult to recruit out-of-state students if the proposed tuition is approved? Sometimes, students being raised from poverty-stricken communities, when I host these Legends Ball and I speak to students across the state, they stay within the state of Mississippi because it's cheaper, and they're able to go to school and be more comfortable.
I think it's certainly a challenge. It makes the job of our recruitment and admissions staff that much more difficult. Additionally, the reality is the state legislature did something very profound, which was that it granted institutions sort of a blanket ability to waive out-of-state tuition. It's a very important word and distinction, which I try to stress as often as I can. While they gave us the ability to waive that tuition, it did not give us the ability to remit that tuition. And so even when we bring out-of-state students in those target areas, there's not an erasure of the out-of-state fee. They are still charged out-of-state tuition. and the institution must come up with the balance of the out-of-state for that student. And so while they say the institution can waive the out-of-state, we really don't have that capacity unless we continue to drive in-state enrollment to higher levels. And so that'll be our challenge, to keep in-state enrollment up and go forward.
Okay, we have a caller on the line, Dr. Brown. Yes, Ms. Mixer, how are you doing tonight?
I am wonderful, Mr. Malone.
I am so glad that you took out of your busy schedule and gave us a call tonight.
And I would like to say that, yes, Dr. Brown has done a tremendous job, and we're all excited about the job that he has done at Alcorn. And, of course, we would like for him to be very sure that we are 100% behind him, and we stand ready and willing to assist him in any way.
Thank you, Ms. Mixon.
Thank you for having me.
As I was preparing for the show and I was getting comments from alumni across the nation, they were saying that, they, since 2010, Dr. Brown has done an awesome job of keeping alumni energetic and involved, and we want to help him to keep that morale going across the nation, because we understand that it does take funding to be able to offset things there at the university and to help students to be able to attend and get a quality education there. What initiatives have been put in place since your inauguration there at the university to increase alumni giving? And as alumni are tuned in tonight, what can we do as alumni to help you in this journey there at the university to increase alumni giving?
We've made two fundamental changes. The first is we changed the foundation calendar year, which used to be July to June. And so you could give money in August or November, December, and look for your name in the annual report and it not be there, and you like, well, I gave money, and then we'd have to say, oh no, that's this fiscal year, not last fiscal year. Additionally, depending on when you gave, it would have variable impact on your income taxes, because we would not issue you your end-of-year statement until the end of the year. And so if you gave in November, you don't get your end-of-the-year statement until July. And, of course, if you're filing your income taxes prior to that, it gets really awkward. So we changed the calendar year. We changed the fiscal year to the calendar year. So the foundation runs from January to December, which makes it easier for people to do end-of-year giving and the like, and it makes a lot more sense when you gave your money. The second thing, we did three things. Second thing is we moved away from pledges. So we allow individuals to make pledges and to pay them, but we don't count any pledges. We only count real dollars. And so we have greater accuracy in where we are with our giving and a better understanding of what our needs are. And then the third, and I think is the most important for the market that we serve, and it is the method that I employed when I was dean at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and that is that I only do project-based fundraising. And so it used to be the case that many institutions, and HBCUs certainly predominant in that cluster, many institutions would raise money by violin. Oh, we're so poor. Oh, we need, we don't have, we're lacking. Can you help us? At Alcorn, we do trumpet fundraising. We talk about the good things that are happening. We launch new initiatives, and we ask if you want to be a part of those new and positive things. And so what I've discovered through the years is that no one wants to write you a check to pay your light bill, or to pay your personnel costs, or to repair your roof. That in fact, as an institution, it's your responsibility to manage and steward your resources in a way that will allow you to do that. But people will help you build a statue. They will help you remodel a facility. They will help you fund a scholarship for a student from a specific academic discipline or skill, like being able to play an instrument or be in the band, or a student who's short from closing the gap and will have to go home. And when you give people tangible things that they can support and that you can report back, this is exactly where your money went, this is what came in, this is how we spent it. There's greater transparency, greater trust, greater accountability, and you're able to raise money. And as a Baptist, it's not unlike what Baptist preachers have done for centuries. They'll have an architect put that rendering of a new church, a new fellowship hall, a new wing up in the vestibule, and they'll put that big red thermometer by it and say, "This is how much we need." People keep giving until you get to the top, and that's actually how we fundraise. We identify discrete, tangible products that we want at the institution. This is how much it costs. We raise for it, and then we move on to the next thing.
And Dr. Brown, for those who are out of state and may not be aware of the awesome things that are going on within the state, just recently I can recall, I was not in the state, but you had a 40th birthday party that was dedicated. That was dedicated to raising funds for the foundation. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so that's where you're saying that you're having initiatives where you are putting things in place where people can actually be able to see exactly what's going on.
Right, and that was not just generic scholarships. Those were what we call fill-in-the-gap scholarships. There are, if you come to Alcorn and you have a 25 on the ACT or 26 or 28 and a 3.9 from high school and you're valedictorian, there's going to be a treasure trove of funds, both institutional and external to the institution, to help support you get your degree. But if you are a student with a 2.8 or a 2.9, maybe from a single-parent home whose family is having difficulty meeting the family contribution portion of the FAFSA, there's not an abundance of scholarship programs to help you. And so we raise funds to make sure that those students who are forgotten by the lion's share of merit scholarships also have access to institutional aid to complete their degrees.
Awesome job. So many of you guys that are here from Southwest Mississippi are very familiar with Medgar Evers and the work that he done throughout the state of Mississippi as it relates to the civil rights movement. And we're going to take the last part of this show tonight to get Dr. Brown to give us a brief analysis of what are we trying to do there at the university to build this statue and how you can get involved and to help tonight. Dr. Brown.
Well, it's certainly an exciting initiative. One of the things that is commonplace for any institution is to celebrate its heroes or heroines and to make clear in a public fashion who the great alums progeny of an institution. So at Morehouse, they will talk repeatedly about Martin Luther King, and certainly they will occasionally add Maynard Jackson or Andrew Young to it. At Fisk, they'll talk about W.E.B. Du Bois. At South Carolina State, they'll talk about Benjamin Mays and Justin Coleman, great individuals who came from an institution. So one of the things I felt was very important, everybody talks about Steve McNair at Alcorn, who's a wonderful football legend. But in addition to Ms. McNair, certainly Alex Haley, who wrote Roots as an alum, as well as Medgar Evers. And so I felt we needed to put some time and attention to talking about the Evers legacy, as well as the Haley legacy, which will be our next phase of historical action. And so there was a group of alumni already with an idea to erect something for Medgar on the campus. They had been working with a sculptor who specializes in busts and heads. If you know, on the Alcorn campus, we already have Carl Rowan right there. And so they were thinking of doing some sort of image of Medgar so that there was something on the campus. And anyone who knows me knows that if you're going to do it, you have to go big or stay home. And so we changed our relationship and found a sculptor who not only did full body, but who specializes in heroic. And so we are building a heroic sculpture of Medgar, which is in fact larger than life, will be raised and elevated, sitting on a pedestal, and it'll be almost twice human size. And so it creates sort of the grandeur and the expectation of life. When you go to the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, they don't have a miniature Lincoln in there. It's a larger-than-life Lincoln, a larger-than-life Jefferson. And in the tidal basin, there's a larger-than-life Martin Luther King. And certainly the legacy that Medgar left in Mississippi and across the nation as one of the first frontline workers for voting rights and voter registration required, I think, a larger-than-life representation. And so the foundation, led by a group of alumni, John Jones has been leading it up, and Mark Ward, as VP of IA, has been giving day-to-day support, as has been Janice Gibson. And we've been raising the funds to fully fund the statue and using no state money, no agency funds, no revenue or auxiliary funds. And so that put some very fine and hard lines on sources of revenue. But alumni have been sending in $10, $5, $100, $1,000 based on their ability to give. And all of that is adding up. And now we're very close to the end. We'll be unveiling it in February of 2013. I can't remember the exact number that Mr. Ward gave me the other day, but I think we're only $54,000 or $58,000 away from the number that we want. And that would cover all of the expenses, which includes the shipping, the installation, et cetera, but we've been, with gracious alumni support and public support, we've been able to make all our payments to the sculptor on time and stay on our schedule. We were able to work with the Evers family so that they sent 2 representatives from the family to Denver, Colorado, to look at the clay model of the sculpture and to make changes. So it was really interesting to see the family members talk about, no, his hands weren't like that, or his, and to make those changes. And now we've moved to the kiln and casting it in bronze. And once that's done, then the sculptor will make final last-minute modifications, and then it will come to the campus. It will be housed, and certainly everybody wants it somewhere. As president, I want it in my front yard. The English department wants it in front of the English building. Band wants it in front of the band hall. Everybody wants it there. But we worked with the Evers family, took them around the campus, and they were really pleased with the Evers Heritage Village that was constructed, the new 4-building residential complex, $47 million. And so what we did is we left a space in the Evers complex right next to the new Barnes & Noble, which opens in January, where there's already seating and a focal area, the lighting, everything is installed. The only thing that's missing now is the sculpture. And so we look forward to installing that at the end of January, beginning of February, and unveiling it. And hopefully it will be an in-demand piece. And that'll be significantly different. I don't know if you've seen the James Meredith at Ole Miss, which is life-size, or the Barbara Jordan that's at UT Austin, which is life-size. And both of those statues stand on the ground. And so this will be raised and elevated on a pedestal. And there are some very interesting features that the sculptor envisioned and that the family approved about the sculpture. And so I look forward to the unveiling and making remarks about what I think are some particular features of the sculpture and how they can motivate, how those features should motivate and encourage us as Alcornites and as students to continue this legacy into the future.
And you guys out there in Southwest Mississippi can go online. I was just recently on there a few days ago and made a donation. You guys can go online and make a donation on the website at alcorn.edu. Dr. Brown, I want to thank you again for coming on tonight. It has been an awesome opportunity for everyone throughout the state of Mississippi and across the nation to hear what great things are going on here in Southwest Mississippi as it relates to Alcorn State University. Viewers, I want to let you guys know that in the month of December, we'll be back here. We'll be back the last Tuesday of the month of December, and we'll be holding political leaders accountable as we progress until 2013. We'll be talking about economic development. We'll be bringing in researchers in poverty research to talk about what we can do to grow Southwest Mississippi. Also, I want you guys to be aware that the month of January, we will be streaming live from the presidential inauguration there in Washington, D.C. on my website, and we'll be interviewing state leaders as well as national leaders as we embark in on President Barack Obama's inauguration there in 2013. Again, I want to thank you all for your support to Growth Talk since we've been here in the Natchez area, and I pray for your continued support as we move forward in 2013. Dr. Brown, thank you again so much for coming on.
Thank you. It was great to be here.